Hello, back again. Violin makers overlook a very crucial detail when fitting the feet of the bridge. Today I will explain you what it is all about. I still remember the very first time when I fitted the feet of my first violin, and then there were all my colleagues and they were paying a lot of attention fitting the feet of the bridge. And I was there, I fitted my feet. Well, I did it as good as well. My craftsmanship wasn't that well educated at that time, but I somehow thought that these young violin makers, they're exaggerating. You can't hear something like this actually. It won't matter. It doesn't make any difference. And then over the years, I learned the trade. Years passed by, very quick by the way, 10, 15 years after I had this first experience. Then slowly I discovered, especially with Carl Becker in Chicago, how much actually this tiny detail is influencing the final acoustical result. Now I explain you here what this is all about. If you fit your bridge, you want it in a specific place. And it should be always in that place, and it should sideways be in that place and in the right length. I talked about it already when it comes to the sound post, to right sound post position and all this. I explain all these kind of things, and I don't want to end up in this one. The point is, once you have signed, and usually I make two tiny dots on the top, once you finally detect again your spots on the top where the bridge is standing, which is just in that position, these feet should perfectly close and fit. A very great idea to fit this is to use a lipstick. People, when they come and visit me, they never ask what I use it for, because maybe they're a little bit afraid to discover some passion of Edgar. But it's not for that. No, I have preferences on lipstick. This one here, which if I pull it out, it's already almost finished. So then I have a brush where I put the brush inside. And then with this brush, I put a little bit of this red color on the top. Now for those makers who watch now this video and they see me, they say, oh, this one is, I never fit the bridge like this, I do that in 10 minutes. But now after 5, 10, 15 minutes, at that point, then I use the lipstick and then I put the bridge in the right position again, like this, and then I lift it up. And the lipstick then leaves some tiny traces. Because of these traces where it is signing, then I can take off a little bit of the bridge foot. You have to take only very, very little of it. And on a violin bridge, you want it that it is perfectly matching. And when you come with these feet to the top surface, that it is attaching at the same point. With the strings on, even if it's not so well fitted, it will perfectly close because it will be smashed perfectly on the top. That it looks by eye that it is perfectly fit, but to fit it in a way that within this plate of thin maple wood, there is no tension. That's a little bit more difficult, right? Putting too early the lipstick, you are risking as a maker that you fit one foot very good and the other one very good, but nobody knows if they're one a little bit more inclined to the other one. And you don't want them to be a little bit inclined in the pressure of the string. The whole bridge gets squeezed like this, because the whole vibration, this is the heart of the acoustics of the violin, that this is deformed. And this deformation is influencing the sound very much, and at a certain level of sound, and we're talking now about over the last 95% of sound, which is just all the violins sound like that. And then there comes the last 5%, and of these last 5%, probably it's the last 1.5%, but it makes a big difference. If you are now looking at these surfaces, they're nicely closed, right? If I now push the bridge in the front, they're both open a little bit, and when I push it back, they're closing in the right moment. And if this is closing in the same moment, I do it on one side and then I do it also from the other side, then I'm sure that this is perfect, because you would imagine that these two surfaces are equally inclined, but it is not. There is always one a little bit different than the other one. And you certainly double check how it touches. And another thing which at least my my great master in the United States, Karl Becker, always paid a lot of attention to. Without lipstick, you actually do nothing else that you concentrate on one foot, and by looking at it, you can see where is the turning point within the foot. And he attached the bridge only like this. Now, just want to show you, in order that it's a little bit more clearer, this explanation on a cello bridge. So when I plane a bridge, I always look that it is perfectly straight. Then I can double check later under the pressure of the strings with a ruler going next to it, and then you see it. Another tiny thing is you need to put a bridge spreader on a cello bridge, and most makers don't even care about it, how this bridge feet spreader here is actually attaching here when you put it in. It needs to be flat, pushing against it without twisting or changing its original position. At the very end, once the strings are up, it's about 2 millimeters more than before. And I measure that with a caliper. If you don't do it, you will have issues. You put it on the right position. Now it doesn't fit very well yet. I sign it with a pencil and we have to cut away at least 5 millimeters. I cut that now quick off. Yeah, and since I took a lot of material away, it won't fit. So now I have to calm down. It is in its position, and this would be not good enough for me, because if I push on one foot, it is how it stands right now. And if I push on the other one, you see that the bridge is twisting like this, which means one foot has a certain angle and the other one on the front is all open. Now, if you would put now on some lipstick at that point, you wouldn't really recognize while you push the finger here and you push the finger here. You can adapt both feet and then they are all twisting. And this is what we don't want. If I push here, you can see that on this back side, it's open. This foot here is both more or less the same area. So here, it's not closed yet. If I push in the front, tuck, it's closing a little bit. It's still roughed out, but now we have to put on the lipstick and we have to make it in a way. Then I adjust it perfectly. I think that the problem is pretty clear. It's just a tiny thing which increases the quality of its sound. In my Edgar online violin making academy, the setup course is only about this matter, about cutting a bridge and all that. Anyhow, pay attention, look at it, ask the violin maker if he has fitted the bridge very well. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your comment, sign up. See you next time. Ciao, 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 ciao.